The law, it ain't for everybody, but you gotta study so you don't act funny when the cops run up on you like a fox, homie. The law, it ain't for everybody, but you gotta study so you don't act funny when the cops run up on you like a fox.
So the question on the Vibes Kartel situation. So initially, when Kartel got locked up and so on, I was not interested. I was not following his case. So I don't know what happened back then. I only started following it recently after, in fact, I started following, in fact, while they were at the Privy Council in the UK arguing the case. I only started following it then because I work with a bunch of people that are big fans of him, of Kartel, and they were following it, and they were kind of updating the rest of us on what's happening and why they were there at the Privy Council and so on. So I only started following it then, and based on what they were telling me, I knew, even before the order was given, I knew Kartel would have been, his case would have been quashed, based on what I heard. You know what I mean? I knew the case would have been quashed. And currently, I strongly believe that he will be acquitted. He will be set free on June 10th when they go to the appeals court to argue whether he should be retried or set free. I think he will be set free. But based on what I saw happened, was it 2 days ago, where he was denied bail? And then when I look at why Kartel is in jail, I don't know what to think. I can't say, based on the facts of law, that he will be set free. I can't say he should be, but I can't say that is the case because I'm seeing some really ridiculous rulings. I think he should have been set free after his lawyers went to argue for him to be set free because he's currently an innocent person based on the ruling in the UK. And then that was denied, claiming that there's a charge of murder is still on him, and that the new bail act says if you're charged for murder, then you can't get bail. What garbage. What garbage. You're saying that if somebody comes right now and say I murdered Dick, Tom and Harry, and they lock me up, I can't get bail? I have to stay in there? I can't get bail because somebody accused me of killing somebody, which is not even true? Just trust me, man. Trust me. Anyways, we'll come back to that. So yeah. So was yesterday I was reading an article that was explaining what happened in court, in the Supreme Court, the habeas corpus hearing. I was reading I think it was the Gleaner, and there's a section there which I will include. Convicted in 2014 for Clyde Lizard Williams' murder in 2011. Williams was allegedly killed after he failed to return 2 unlicensed guns given to him by Kartel for safekeeping. Williams has not been seen or heard from since then. Kartel and his co-accused denied any involvement in the killing of Williams. Kartel allegedly killed Lizard and his co-accused. That word allege is a big word, and that word alone is the deciding factor in the Kartel case. They use the word allege because there is no proof, there is no fact to suggest or to show that Lizard is dead. There's nothing to show that he's dead, and there's nothing to show that Kartel and his co-accused killed him. If that was the case, if there was proof, you wouldn't use the word allege. You would say Kartel killed Lizard. You wouldn't say allege, because allege means you're not sure. You don't know. Now you can't sentence somebody to life imprisonment or 35 years to life or something like that. In fact, you cannot sentence somebody in a criminal case based on having one doubt. If there's 99% fact that he killed him, but there's 1% chance that he doesn't, that he didn't, or they didn't, you have to acquit. I didn't say that. That's what the greatest lawyers say. Like somebody like Alan Dershowitz and Jonathan Turley. These are two law professors. They're not just lawyers. Law professors who are highly successful. If there is even a shred of doubt that Kartel didn't kill Lizard, or any person is not guilty of a crime, you have to acquit. And after 10 years, 11 years, however how many years it is, 13 years that Kartel has been locked up, we're still using the word allege. That's because we don't know. We don't know. There's no proof that Kartel killed Lizard. And yet he was sentenced to that many years in prison for something you don't factually know happened. Now, people in the United States, some of these great lawyers that I just mentioned, Donald Trump, for example, referred to countries like Jamaica, Africa, etc. These countries, he calls them shithole countries. He called these countries shithole countries. And a lot of us get upset when people refer to Jamaica and countries like Jamaica as shithole countries. Because with all their racist, that's not why they call it countries like Jamaica shithole country. It's not because Jamaica is mainly populated by black people. That's not why. It's because of the justice system and the government of such countries. That's why they call it so. Shithole country. Because this Kartel case, based on what I'm seeing, is a shithole. It makes Jamaica. Look, the Supreme Court was involved. In fact, the Supreme Court was what sentenced him to 35 years to life in prison. The highest court in the land sentenced Kartel to 35 years to life in prison. Based on what? Assumption. That is banana republic stuff. That don't happen. The justice system wasn't designed that way. Should never be designed that way. If they can send Kartel to jail based on assumption, and Kartel is a famous figure. Everybody knows Kartel, locally and abroad. And you are able to send him to prison without proof, without the fact that he killed Lizard. You sentence him without a reasonable doubt. In fact, not without, with reasonable doubt of killing Lizard. You sentence him to 35 years to life in prison. If you can do that to a famous person, then what about you and I, regular people, where our case won't be televised, won't come on the news, nobody will hear about it. They'll just, and we don't have the money to appeal to the Privy Council. We're lost then. We're gonna be lost in the system. If the government can just get up like that and sentence us, say, I think you killed Dick, Tom, and Harry, and send us to prison for life imprisonment without having factual proof that such is the case. If they can do that to a famous person like Kartel, you and I don't have a chance. And that's what makes Jamaica a shithole country and a banana republic. And these court system, the Supreme Court, the highest court in the land, a kangaroo court. A kangaroo court, not a real court. The highest court in the land is a kangaroo court. How can you send somebody to prison Allegedly, the crime that you claim he commit, you can't factually say, yeah man, he did it. Allegedly. What bull, what BS? Garbage. That's garbage. And based on that fact, you would think then that this judge recently in the Supreme Court would say, okay, I'm gonna let you go because really and truly, when I look at the facts of the case, there's really nothing. They don't really have anything on you. They didn't prove that you killed Lizard, so we're gonna let you go until the retrial, the case, the appeal on the 10th of June. We're gonna let you go until then and see what they decide. See if they come up with any additional proof. I don't think they can, but let's see. Let's see what they'll come up with. But man, what garbage. I didn't believe those things could happen here in Jamaica, but it's happening. And that's worrying for me. I don't know about you, but that is worrying for me. It's such a disgrace. And you know, I heard his lawyer, Isaac, says he was instructed to challenge the Bail Act. He should. He should. Because guess what? This new Bail Act that they're talking about, I didn't look at it. I didn't read it. But it says, I hear them say on the news that the Bail Act says, for example, if you're being charged for murder, that you can't get bail, that you mustn't get bail. The new Bail Act said that. But guess what happened? The Constitution of Jamaica speaks about bail. And it never said that if you've been convicted or if you've been charged for murder, that you mustn't get bail. It never said that. So how the new Bail Act can say something contrary to what the Constitution says? When the Constitution says if there's any law that contravenes what is written in the Constitution must be void and the Constitution upheld. What happened? This judge, this recent judge, don't remember her name, she didn't know that? She didn't know that the Constitution says that if there's any other law that contravenes what is written in the Constitution, that other law must be void and the Constitution, what is in the Constitution, must be upheld. She didn't know that. I don't know. I don't think so. So, you know what? I'm getting too hyped up in this situation. I'm getting too hyped up. As I said, I'm not a fan of Kartel. You know, I'm really just a fan of the law and people's rights and practicing law the right way. I'm a fan of that. And it really upsets me to see people who should know better. Listen, if it was one of these regular resident magistrate, judges, I could accept and say, oh, okay. But when it gets to the Supreme Court, it will be overturned. You know what I mean? I could say that. But this decision was made by the Supreme Court, the highest court in Jamaica. And then there are some people in Jamaica who are saying, or who are trying to argue that Jamaica should come from under the monarch. If that happens, if that had been the case, Kartel would have been done with, he would have been done with, his case would not have been quashed like it did the other day, because once we come out of the monarch, from under the monarch, our cases, there will be no more going to the Privy Council in the UK. The Supreme Court will be the final court. And the Supreme Court here is obviously, what should I say? They're obviously in bed with, the system. Yeah, the Supreme Court is in bed with the system. The system here, the government, etc. Whoever it is who's trying to put Kartel away. The Supreme Court is in bed with those people. Obviously. So then, if we come from under the monarch, then we can't rely on the Supreme Court to give us justice, as has been proven in this cartel case. And let me tell you, man, I've lived here for a long time, all my life, never traveled, but I'm telling you, based on what I'm seeing here, I'm seriously considering leaving this country behind. I am, actually. This is garbage.